everyone. Shihan Allie Alberigo here, owner and founder of Long Island Ninjutsu Centers, and I'm honored and proud that you're here with me right now, right here on this video. I wanted to do a parenting tip or a training tip for students, mindset training, and I wanted to talk about a few conversations I had with some parents yesterday. To me, I always try to learn from every conversation. I try to make them as enlightening for myself as possible so that I can come away from the conversation with a better perspective of what my role is as a teacher, what people, parents, students expect from me, and also how I can open their mind and, for lack of better words, enlighten them to a new perspective, a new paradigm in their lives. Yesterday we spoke about a few things, and the three conversations I had with these three families were quite unique, as well as the one adult student that I spoke to. They were unique in reference to being very similar in regards to the topic at hand. And it was all about keeping up with the Joneses, or following what is known as an expectation. So for example, a child is X amount of years old, they should act like this. If they don't act like this, they maybe have something wrong with them. Maybe they don't have full attention. Maybe they should be looked at or diagnosed to have A.D.D, A.D.H.D, hyperactivity disorder. If they don't follow a certain set guideline, basically a checklist of things that maybe doctors or psychiatrists or experts have, diagnosed with the key maybe indicators of what this particular disease or disorder has, then maybe if they have a few of those or the most markers of what is on the list, then they must be suffering from this or that. If that makes sense, you may be a parent with a child who's been labeled with A.D.D, and right away they want to medicate, they want to put him on Ritalin, they may want to give him something else or her something else, or you may be an adult and you can't focus, and you believe that maybe you have something wrong with you. And here's what I have to say. Every single child, every single person is an individual. We are not like the rest. Yes, if we want to diagnose the flu, we may have symptoms, right? One time I went to my doctor, and he looked at me and said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Oh, I have a scratchy throat. When I swallow, it hurts." He whipped out his prescription pad and started writing me a prescription for antibiotics. And I got annoyed. I said, "Aren't you even going to look inside my throat? Aren't you going to even, see what's wrong with me before?" "Well, no. Everyone's going through this or that at this moment in time. It's the whatever." He gave me a diagnosis, and I was annoyed. He gave me a prescription. I tore it up and threw it in the garbage, went home, rested, and felt better in a day or two. But he didn't want to take the time to truly analyze me as an individual, right? So here's my recommendation for parents out there that are listening. Yes, you may have a child that may not focus, but that doesn't mean that he is unfocused. It might mean that the thing you want him to focus on is not capturing his attention. Or it may mean that we haven't taken the time to teach them how to focus, right? And the one big thing that I find interesting is that many families start to say, my child should be, and I'm holding up my quote fingers, right? They should act like this. They should do that. They can do this. They can do that. And not always is that the case. They may look out into a classroom and see a group of children. And I get this from parents of mine at the dojo. When they go to a tournament, they say, "Well, that kid was so much better than my child." And I ask and I say, "Well, do you know how old they are? Do you know how long they've been practicing?" And they say, "Well, he's in the age group of, 5 to 6 year olds." We'll say, okay, that's a big span. A 6-year-old has a whole entire year to mature more than maybe your 5-year-old, and your 5-year-old may have just turned 5. So every situation is different. We can't just assume. And here's another thing that I want to point out to parents, families, and this is what my conversation had, how it went with the adult, is people will say, "When am I ready for my belt?" And I always say to them, there is no when am I ready for my belt. Let's just train. Yeah, but my son is disappointed, my daughter is disappointed, I'm disappointed as an adult. I need to know how to monitor so that I can move forward. Well, here's the answer. There is no time frame. that is really, we could put some guidelines in place, but everything is about individuals. And you know what? Here's the secret. Not every kid is promoted just based on how they perform, how they know their moves, how many classes they have, how long they've been there. Sometimes as instructors, we may hold an outstanding student back because they're moving too quickly and they need to simmer in the belt. They need to learn patience. They need to learn how to take negativity and turn it into positive. They need to learn how to react to rejection. This is real world training that a lot of students are missing. So we need the parents to somehow trust us, even though that I know what it's like to be a parent. I second guess others as well. My daughter's teachers, my daughter's dance instructors, and I'm a knowledgeable person. I know what's right for her. However, sometimes you just have to trust in the person who's an expert at what they do and let them do what they do. And also, here's another thing. By failing, by not getting what they want, by waiting longer, there's a lesson in it. It's a life lesson that will never be learned by reading it in a textbook, never be learned by a mom saying, don't worry, buddy, you'll get it one day. We have to stop thinking that way. The Eastern philosophy is to understand that failure is a part of success. In fact, failure isn't looked at, like in our society, as failure. It's a stepping stone for success. You have to fail in order to succeed. You should anticipate on failing. You should almost look forward to failing so that you could learn from the lessons, so that you could then move forward in your life and become a better person. Our world is filled with paper tigers. Everyone knows everything about anything. Everybody knows what to say. Everyone could speak on Facebook and talk a whole bunch of stuff about each other. They all know, but most of them have no practical experience. So just because you're textbook savvy, or just because you can identify with whatever's going on mentally, it doesn't mean that you actually are fully prepared for it. Here's what happens. Sometimes famous people become rich and famous. Sometimes MMA fighters become, famous, and they win. And when they lose, they crash. They turn to drugs. They contemplate suicide. Why? Because they never took the time to learn how to fail and live with it, and learn that life is about a whole entire succession of failures. Right? So we have to look at that, and that's the Eastern philosophy that I teach in my martial art program. I want parents to realize, trust in us. We will turn your child, no matter how old they are, into an amazing individual. With your help, of course. We're not doing it all ourselves, but I have people who are lawyers, doctors, helicopter pilots, soldiers, Navy SEALs, police officers. The list goes on. And they will tell me, the martial arts helped them get through college when all their friends were out drinking. Helped them make it to become an attorney when they wanted to quit and they wanted to give up, but they heard my voice in their head saying, don't do it. So anyway, I think I ran over. I've talked for quite some time. This is a long one today, and I do apologize. However, I think it's a really good message. Parents, I hope you get this. Adults that are listening, martial art instructors, feel free to share this. And I'm honored to be able to talk to you in this manner. One thing I do want to mention is you should check out my new book, The 5 Gateways to Happiness. It's a great stocking stuffer for Christmas for friends. It's not about people who are sad, how to become happy. Well, it works for them as well, but it's about dealing with everyday stress and being able to take your life and enhance your happiness, so that even if you're having the time of your life, you will have an even better time of your life, right? So the 5 Gateways to Happiness, you can get it on our website at lininja.com. It's actually free. We just pay shipping and handling. If you pick it up in-house, all you're going to do is pay for the cost of the printing. It's like $5 or something like that. How can you go wrong? If you learn one technique that changes your life or makes you enhances your happiness, wasn't it worth the $5? So the 5 Gateways to Happiness, and share that with a friend. And thank you very much for listening. Arigato gozaimasu.